My name's Finn Vanderark, and I'm going to be explaining to you why recycling plastic is more effective than eliminating it completely. Imagine you're walking down the beach and you see a sea turtle trapped in plastic. How does that make you feel? It does not make you feel good. Or you see an otter tangled up in garbage floating through the water. Most of us have seen those pictures or videos online, and honestly, they're hard to forget. It's not something you just forget. Plastic pollution is one of the biggest environmental issues in the world today, and it continues to get worse every year, and that's what a lot of people are unaware of. According to the United Nations Environmental Program, which is one of the websites I studied a ton this semester, the equivalent of 2,000 garbage trucks is dumped in the water every single day. And it's not just the water, it's oceans, rivers, lakes, tributary streams, anywhere where our ecosystems are. That statistic alone shows the severity of the problem. Because of this, many environmental groups have started calling for the full elimination of single-use plastics. One organization I looked over a lot is called Beyond Plastics, and they believe in banning single-use plastics is the best solution to protect our environment. While I agree that pollution is a serious issue, specifically plastic pollution, I do not think eliminating single-use plastics is the most efficient or realistic solution. Instead, improving recycling systems and increasing consumer participation is way more practical. And if we can get everyone together to come as one in unison and make a change, that's how we're going to see serious improvement. And plastic pollution harms our environment and wildlife in a way more severe way than people think. And Clearwater Action is one of the websites and organizations I studied a lot over this semester. And one of their studies says that 267 species worldwide are affected each year. Sea turtles, birds, fish, otters, marine mammals are all some of the common victims of plastic waste. And the problem is animals mistake plastic for food, and that's where the trouble starts. Or they think it's food, and that's how they get trapped in it, and then they die. Every year, millions of tons of plastics enter our waterways, and we have to take action. But the problem is people think that action needs to be taken immediately. That's not the case. It's a steady effort throughout time, and everyone makes their own little effort to make the change. At the same time, plastic became such a major issue in society because of the accessibility. Plastic's cheap, plastic's easy, it's lightweight, and it's oftentimes convenient. Most college students, including me and all my peers, probably use single-use plastics every day, and we don't even think about it. I use a water bottle every day, fast food containers, grocery bags, straws, all these types of plastics all cause this issue. And society's become heavily dependent on convenience, and that's what we see a lot around us every day. And plastic fits perfectly into that category of convenience. Because of that, completely eliminating it would have a drastic effect on society, and that's not what we want. I do agree that reducing unnecessary plastic use is very important. Simple changes can make a huge difference over time. A great example of that is using a reusable water like a Hydro Flask or a Yeti or a water container instead of buying plastic water bottles, and that small difference makes a change. But even if millions of people make the same choice, the environmental impact becomes dramatically significant. It's not just even your own little actions, you think they do nothing, but they are significant. Reusable grocery bags instead of using plastic grocery bags, or reusable food containers and meal prepping rather than buying stuff like that are small lifestyle changes that can reduce waste in drastic ways. And when you see your friends making that change, you might be more intrigued to do the same. And that's the collateral effect, that ladder effect, and that is how we make the change. The point is that reducing waste and improving recycling is realistic, and that is the way to do it. It's not an overnight change. It's a process that will take years and years and years of a consistent effort. One major reason eliminating single-use plastics is unrealistic is because plastics are essential in healthcare. Hospitals rely on gloves, syringes, IV bags, medical packaging, and plastic products every single day. These products help maintain sanitation and prevent contamination. And we need this in our medical systems because if we don't have those, then things get contaminated. That's how viruses break out, diseases, etc. And reusable alternatives could increase infection risks, and patient safety is one of the most important things. In healthcare, cleanliness and efficiency are critical, and single-use plastics do play that role, and that is one of the most important reasons we need them. And that's where Beyond Plastics, that's where they kind of get caught in the mix. Another problem is eliminating plastics is alternative materials are often more expensive and less efficient. Glass and aluminum are replaceable, but they are not that replaceable, and they are two of the most expensive materials to produce. According to Valet Packaging, which is one of the other websites I studied for my P3, glass packaging can cost about 50% more than plastic. So cost efficiency is something you do have to take into play, and that's where plastics are more efficient from a cost standpoint. And glass is much heavier. So from a transportation standpoint, it's much harder to transport 30 tons of glass than it is to transport 30 tons of plastic. And on top of that, producing glass and metal requires a large amount of energy, and conserving energy is key. Completely banning plastic also ignores the important role it plays in food and safety. Plastic packaging helps protect food from contamination and helps extend its shelf life. This is why I believe recycling is the better long-term solution. Recycling helps reduce the amount of waste in landfills, which is key for us. It also keeps our oceans cleaner, which is why I chose recycling, because I care about wildlife, I care about our ecosystems, and one day I want my kids to live in the same environment I lived in, if not better. And part of why we make this effort and we're trying to make this change is so that our kids can live in a better environment than we did, and their kids and future generations. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's about leaving the earth greener than how you found it. And this is why I chose to do recycling for my English 2 1 through 4 projects. Thank you.